It's Monday. Welcome to the Thought Leader Lounge. I'm so excited that you are here. If you're joining us for the first time on social, I am your host, Sarah Cannell, best-selling author and the founder of Thought Leader Academy, our incredible community where we get to help inspiring, amazing leaders become best-selling authors, in-demand speakers, give TEDx talks, and change the planet. So you are in the right place if you know that there is a book in you, if there is a next level, a bigger stage that you're meant to be on. You are here watching this or watching the recording, those of you doing that for a reason, on purpose, with a purpose, for a purpose. And that's what we are going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about this powerful force that happens when the vision, when the calling, when the purpose, when all of that, who we came here to be, just, I don't know what I want to call it, like brims up, overflows out and says like, I'm here to, it's time for my movement. It's time for my movement. And so happy Monday to everyone. If you're on Zoom, say hello in the chat, say where you're zooming in from. If you're joining us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, go ahead and do the same thing in the comments so we can get just centered together. We're going to take a breath. I have two incredible guests that are here with us in the lounge this morning to talk about this idea of when vision becomes reality, when calling says, it's time, game on, right? And I'm so glad to see you, Charlotte and Kelly and Matt. Oh my goodness, so great to see you all. Courtney and Karen's here, Paige, Sarah's here, Nadine's here, Amy Day, back from your international travels. So yes, I love it. Matt's from Chicago, but currently visiting parents in Iowa. Awesome, Matt. It's great to see you. All right, so we deal with a lot of things here in the Thought Leader Lounge. We talk about the fact that thought leadership starts by leading our own thoughts. What's our mindset? What's our come from? Are we telling ourselves and building ourselves up? You can and you will, right? I've got where's my you can sign, right? Or are we in some, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Am I good enough? Are we letting other people, places, and things tell us what we're capable of, what we're allowed to be and do and have, what we're worthy of? I'm going to be doing a whole pocket coaching on giving away our power. Why? Because I gave away some power over the last few days and I got it back, but I'm going to always be real with you all and call it where, you know, I look at my own mindset, my own thought leadership inside. Then it's leading the thoughts of those that we're here to serve, not in a way of controlling anyone or telling them what to do, but lifting people up, showing them a new way, giving them that new vision, solving that challenge that's keeping them up at night, helping them fulfill the dream that they've been carrying sometimes for years. That's what you're all here to do. And that's what our guests are doing with an incredible new vision and venture that they're going to share with us in a few minutes. So I want everybody, if we can just close our eyes and just feel yourself dropping down from any Monday swirl, anything going on outside this moment, anything coming up later today. If you're having conversations with anyone in your head, anyone do that, right? We're going to let that go. And just bring your attention to your breath. Maybe put your hands on your belly today. Let's activate that parasympathetic response. Breathing in, breathing out. Letting your jaw relax, letting your spine unknot and unwind, feeling yourself maybe do some shoulder rolls, move your neck from side to side, and just come into this now moment. And see if you can arrive at a place in yourself that says, no matter what you felt like so far this morning or today, some of you are in Europe or, you know, other continents, it's later in the day, but letting yourself feel into, if you're available, to let this week be miraculous. Really opening up to money miracles, inspiration miracles, time miracles, clarity miracles, support miracles. What miracle are you calling in this week? And go ahead and when you get an answer, put that in the chat or the comments. What is the miracle? And you can even open your posture of opening if you want to open your arms. Yes. Just claim a miracle. It's so cool that we can actually ask. Yes, avalanches of abundance, Summer. Yes, I'm going to do that one with you. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. So as you're calling in, receiving your miracle, productivity miracle this week, Sarah. I love that. Sarah's working on her amazing new book. It's just going to be awesome. Giant Leap Forward in your book too, Amy. I love it. Pieces falling magically into place, Charla. Fantastic. I love these. All right. So I promised you September is going to be a really fun combination of incredible guests and some episodes of the Thought Leader Lounge where we're going to do some strategy and processes together. We're going to do some writing craft. We've had a request for writing craft. So I think that'll be next week. And this week, you're going to meet two extraordinary women who are starting their movement. Right. And I can't wait for you to hear. And what we're really going to get into, what I'm excited to get into in this conversation is what's it like when the vision strikes, and then how do we turn that, instead of it just being a fun fantasy, right? Like, oh, I have this vision, it's on my vision board. How, what's it like when that comes into form? What does it look like to take a stand and take action and move it forward? And so wherever you are in your journey, some of you I know are here, you're in Thought Leader Academy, your movement. And we're preparing for the Women Starting Movements conference. It's coming up in a month. I'm going to be with so many of you in Chicago. I'm so excited. And what is that about? Starting a movement. It starts with us moving, just like thought leadership starts with us leading our own thoughts in an uplifting, empowering, powerful direction. We move. If you're ever studied, a spiritual context, there's that idea of, you pray and move your feet. Faith without works is dead. We hear these things. And what they're really speaking to is that we have the vision and then we put it into action. And the two women you're about to hear from are putting a vision that is big and powerful and needed and necessary and game-changing and innovating into action. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about these two incredible women who are leading their movement. And then we're just going to, dialogue. And if you have some questions that you want to ask, you can put them in the chat. So Jill, if you would bring up the amazing Dr. Crystal Gifford and the amazing Summer Deaton. And yes, so good. And let me brag a little bit about both of you, and then we'll let you share what's been going on. So Dr. Crystal Gifford is, I love this. Students, clients, and businesses are in love with Dr. Crystal, who's achieved more than 20 years of successful experience in finance and economics, serving thousands of students and hundreds of businesses to make decisions widely. Right. So Dr. Crystal Gifford has her doctorate of business administration in international accounting 2008 and a master of financial economics from Ohio University in 2002. And now captivates audiences far and wide with her fresh twist about the money stuff. Okay. So Crystal is going to bring so much into this vision and this movement about strategy, about finances, about operations, about lots of stuff that I'm sure I don't even know about. Okay, so this is really exciting. And then we have Summer Deaton, who I've had the pleasure of working with and knowing in another community, another organization. And Summer is a third generation entrepreneur with a lifelong dedication to education and empowerment. Summer's journey has been one of innovation, impact, and unwavering inspiration. And she was impacted by her mother's pioneering in peacemaking. And at 20, Summer initiated and implemented a restorative justice program at the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, a legacy that continues to thrive. Her ongoing role as CEO of Re-Solutionaries, a business inherited from her mother, and an advisory role for LCJP, another organization founded by her mother, vividly demonstrates the commitment to meaningful impact for future generations. But what we're going to get into today, Summer is the co-founder of Life Launch Core, and she's bringing her extensive background, experience, and passion to support the next generation of alternative thinkers to create success on their terms. We're going to find out what that looks like. And welcome to both of you, Dr. Crystal and Summer.
Hey, Sarah. Thank you so much.
So happy to have you both. So we wanted to have you on today because we're preparing for women starting movements. And I think I get the pleasure of getting to see both of you in Chicago in a month with us. So all of you who are coming, get excited because you'll get to meet these two extraordinary women when we are together. And, you all have been doing phenomenal work in the world. So it wasn't like you were just sitting around watching TV, kicking back. Like, you've been out changing lives, innovating in your industries, and something new has emerged. And so, Summer, could I start with you about the new movement? Just, I know it's hard to put that into a couple sentences, but just share with us, like, what is the calling that's been revealed that's turning into this new movement? And then we'll dialogue with both of you about how it's going.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having us. Beautiful to be here today with all these beautiful shining luminaries that you've had here in your community, in your sphere. Feel super grateful and honored. And what just popped off the page for Crystal and I, she and I met 12 years ago and have been in communication and in championship of each other for all these years. And finally, the stars aligned, and we've got this definite calling forth of what we like to call affectionately College 2.0.
Yeah.
So a new version of how our Gen Z kiddos can get started at life if they're maybe not tracking for that traditional college experience. So I'd say that's a nutshell.
That's incredible. And so you've known I love this. I knew we'd find out all kinds of new things. You've known each other for 12 years. You've been standing for each other, supporting each other, cheering each other on. And then suddenly this vision strikes, this movement, because you're seeing, and we can talk about this, like a lot more. I don't know what the numbers, you all know them better than I do, but a lot of kids that are reaching college age, and that isn't what they're feeling. They're not feeling inspired. They're not feeling like it makes sense. I mean, I'm hearing from many, many, many parents with I have a middle schooler, but kids that age. So, Dr. Crystal, to tell us, what about this speaks so much to your heart?
For me, this has been a lifelong journey I became a professor at the age of 23. It was one of those divine accidents in my life. And suddenly I'm teaching. But I loved money, and I wanted to be an investment banker. And I was like, well, how do you bring those together? And I ended up teaching money, finance, and economics. And over the past 20 years, I've had this opportunity to ask students every single first day of class, why are you here? And inevitably, and even more so as the years have gone forward, their answers are, my mom wants me to be. Well, my sister was going to college, so I thought I would just do that too because I don't know what else to do. I want to play a sport. And it was all these reasons. And I found that those same students were dropping out. They weren't finishing. It was a 50% drop rate from freshmen to sophomores. And it's simply because they were uninspired, like you mentioned, Sarah, and we're calling them lazy. And I'm telling you, they are not lazy. They were just simply uninspired.
Oh, I just have chills because sometimes we have such a rigid, we talk a lot in our community about kind of dismantling the inner patriarchy, right? Which isn't about gender. It's about systems and ideas that say there's a right way that it's all supposed to look, and it's sort of like, oh, if you want to make it in life and be successful, you're supposed to go to college and yet, that's just not everyone's path, and or right away even. So we know there's a need. You're seeing growing numbers in the classroom. You're seeing young people in your life. You're a mom, you're seeing this, and we don't know where to send kids, right? Because talk about so the model has been up until now, you go to college, you don't go to college, or you do this sort of gap year, where what is that? Just go to Amsterdam and get high. You know what I mean? Like, what is the structure of this, right? And so let's talk a little bit about why you felt the need for something new for these young people. Besides that they're uninspired, but in addition, I should say additional reasons. Yeah.
Well, I think what happened in terms of that dismantling the inner patriarchy, I think we're seeing that in our world, and we're calling it the COVID college crash. So COVID amplified, which was already happening. And Dr. Crystal was talking about, she'd already been seeing this trend, way ahead, but then this just like interrupted everything. So we have this, precious, beautiful next generation who's kind of been left like, whoa, I've been doing school all these years. And like, now what's going on? And so for us, like this, we've been talking about like innovating the third way. So like you were alluding to, Sarah, the AKA gold standard of next steps getting launched in life was go to college.
Yeah.
So what if that's not actually what you're feeling aligned with? Well, maybe you do a gap year. And if that's not structured, where does it lead? Can turn into that gap life. Or perhaps then it's like, well, do a trade. If you can't do anything else, like go do a trade. It's been like this kind of sad thing on the side, really. And so we're thinking like, there is another way to do this, and combining Dr. Crystal's expertise and my expertise, training entrepreneurs, bringing those things together.
Well, what I'm loving so much, and I want to just, speak to some of the things that excited me about your movement. Again, I have a child who's younger. I don't know what is going to be his perfect path, but like Charlotte, you just said, I did a gap year, I worked 2 jobs. I figured myself out. So it was so perfect because you got clarity, right, Charlotte, on like, what was your path? And for kids that need that, right? Like, and you, like you said, Summer, it's not just this kind of, oh, well, and default. Oh, I default will go to college because I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, or default a trade because I guess that's the only other choice. It's like, but I'm always obsessed in coaching with the option C. If there's always been A and B, like what's C? And I always do this motion because C is always like the even better, and I don't mean even better than traditional college or a trade. If that's someone's calling, it's absolutely spectacular. I loved higher education. I have a master's degree. You know what I mean? Like that was a good fit for me, right? Yeah. But it isn't at all for everyone in any way, right? And so I think, so what I think is so extraordinary about this movement is that you've solved for so many of the things that make the ambiguity hard. Like you all, when you get to know, and hopefully, Summer and Dr. Crystal will certainly send out a link where people can find out more about your movement. And if you have friends, all of you that are like, I've got a kid who's having this, I've already sent this new incredible movement to friends of mine with kids who are at this age. But you're helping kids do what Charlotte was brave enough to do, but you're giving them structure, right? They get to explore fields that might be inspiring in an entrepreneurial or other way. It is financed, right? These kids learn, Dr. Crystal, the money, the economics. These kids not only don't have debt, they finance this education of college 2.0, like while they're in their first year. And then so tell us some of the other things that you were like, our dream scenario, like we want to give, because I feel like you put together every awesome thing that a young person would need. So can you tell everybody a little bit more about some of the features that you've built into this movement so that you've addressed all those challenges?
Yeah, I'll start with, you mentioned the financing. So one of the things that we've done is traditionally parents will put their kids through college and they'll either pay or don't pay, and they work out whatever deal. Yeah. And in our curriculum, we're literally teaching students how to go and earn while they learn. So they get to do that and manage, if they choose the financing route, or if the parents are paying, we ask them to put it in escrow and let the student rise to the occasion, learn the management skills, learn what it means to, oh, I have a bill, it's due so many days, every 30 days or whatever that is. And how do I manage that? How do I budget for that? How do I plan so that I can still have a life and enjoy myself while I'm also repaying my debt and learning those adulting skills? So that's one of our really, I think, powerful pieces, is to learn while you learn.
Oh my God. That alone, put in the chat, like, I didn't know what I was so like unmanageable around understanding finances in college. Like I was getting this wonderful education. I went to Northwestern University. It's a top university, but I didn't know how to do that properly. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I learned it later. And so Summer, what else was so important for this to include for you?
For me, it was really bringing that entrepreneurial component. Like I had this aha that the clients I've been working with for the last 12 years, who are the entrepreneurs, they are the Sarah Cannells of the world, that they're figuring this out in their, well, in Sarah's case, like her 30s, but for many of us, like our 40s, 50s, much further down the road. And what if we can take some of this that we've, gleaned and bring it down and get that like runway much shorter and just create some extra loft. That was really important to me. And that there's I'm not a fan of one size fits all. So wanting to find out like, what is your unique brilliance person and what is your, so that's what's driving the direction that we are looking for what we want to do with our time, talent, and treasure, right? Like,
Yes.
let's put it in the right lanes. That felt really important to me, and that it's available for all kinds of different scenarios. So even the kid who's thinking, maybe I want to go to college, but I don't know what I want to do, so I'm not sure, they could spend a year with us and get clear on that. And then, we could help them do the application and figure out which college and the research and the things that they need to put in place. The same kind of plan you'd put together for a business, you could put together for your education. So, we're not saying like you have to be entrepreneurial or you have to do it this particular way. Like, sky's the limit.
Yeah. And what I love about this so much is that I think, again, you have your Charlottes, and she was here and in the chat, that could put together a vision, right? And sort of say, oh, I'm going to, study here and go intern here. And that's great if you have either really helpful adults in your life that can kind of steer you with an apprenticeship or an internship or something, or you have someone in another country you can go stay with, or you have the resources and a family. But let's face it, that's a small percentage of people. Like I think a small percentage of kids would be in the position where their parents would know how to hook them up with great internships or, experiences, or have the finances to be able to fund a gap year and travel to other countries. I know that was not on the books. I tell you what, it was like, let's go. And so, and rightfully so, right? There's no, so you're empowering young people at this age to be financially responsible now and in the future. My God, will that save them so much hell, right? Debt-free, all those things. And say, like, you get to have some support and structure in charting this time, because it's a lot to ask a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old to like figure out a curriculum for themselves from the school of life. Like, I think that's just a big ask. And so you've given them the chance to have the space, not just, again, go because my mom wants me to go, or go because I have to do, but that there's a structure and support around this, skills that will benefit, like you said, Summer. I would want my son to do this if he wants to go to college. I still want him to learn the financial piece. He's going to need those skills. So everyone's like, where's the link? Yes. So we will definitely get that for you guys. So what else? Okay. So we're talking about women starting movements. You are two women, you're starting this movement with a team. And let's talk a little bit about that idea of with the team, right? Because when you say yes, Providence moves too. It's the H.D. Murray quote that a lot of us in the coaching space use, and I'll never get tired of. I'm witnessing you both having said yes to the calling. Like, the movement said, hey, there's a need. Create me, the big magic, as Elizabeth called it, has come to you. And the thing is that a lot of people get ideas all the time. We get ideas all the time. We get an idea for a book. We get an idea for a business. We get an idea for a course. And having an idea and actually leading a movement and making it available. You guys are starting the first group of students in October. Yeah. These women are not messing around. The vision came and it's game on. Okay. I freaking love that. It is amazing. So what has that been like? Like, what has it been like when you gave Summer, did you call Dr. Crystal and say, buckle up, like, I have this idea? Or was it like, tell us, like, what happened when you got to your yes, and then what's happened the last couple months?
You want to start, Crystal?
Sure. So this happened because it hit close to home. Summer and I chose to have a conversation about our own children who are in that early 20s age groups. And we started sharing what we've done. And I have had this vision for starting some other way of doing things for really 20 years, but I've been actively looking toward what would that be and what would that look like for about 10. So Summer actually reached out to me about her son, and in the conversation of what can we do to help him have a framework, we learned that it wasn't about them anymore. And they were the catalyst to get us to take a look. And that just that was the moment. It was just magic.
Yeah. The curriculum has really been, she's been writing this curriculum for 20 years, honestly.
Right.
You
Right.
know, because she was in the classroom with these kids year after year after year, and there was something in her that was like, oh, there's something else. So the speed is what's been amazing to me. I don't know if anybody does any human design work, but we're both projectors in human design.
I was going to ask, okay, so you're both projectors, and
Yeah.
look at this.
We do
Someone's our
not have
operations person.
we have no sacral motor. So I remember when Crystal and I decided we were going to do this, I was like, ooh, we're both projectors. Like, we don't have a consistent energy source. I felt really concerned about that.
Sure.
And what we've discovered when that one knocks and it's yours to go do,
Yeah.
I call it Gus, God, universe, source, spirit. You know,
Yeah.
Gus came in, and Gus has been our sacral motor.
Yes. Yes. I freaking love this. Yeah.
And then the other thing that happened, and you said, you know, provenance and all the things like coming in to support, I knew, being visionaries and being projectors, we had to have, I just kept hearing build it to scale. And I've been helping businesses scale for, you know,
Yes.
over a decade. So I wasn't interested in doing anything that was little, because I knew too much, but I also knew too much that I didn't want to start anything, because it was also kind of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So I knew we had to have team, like we had to have an ops, you know, just, yeah. And so I started putting out the call in my network, and my top choice, I call her my logistical mystical.
Yeah.
She was my first call, and I didn't hear from her, and I didn't hear from her. So I'm like putting out other feelers and putting out other feelers, and I have things coming back in. I have people saying, yes, we'll help. And it's okay if we're doing a revenue share, and like, let's just make it work. But then my logistical mystical said, I'm in. And that was when it was like, Crystal, game on, we're doing
Game
it.
on. Like it's on. It's up. I mean, I just have chills, because this is about when we commit, providence moves too. And so I just want to invite, that's what I'm inviting all of you into as we prepare to be together for Women Starting Movements. You hear stories like Dr. Crystal and Summer, who gave their yes. They could just have had the conversation and said like, oh, you know, has anyone done it? Let's just be honest in the chat. You've gotten this great idea, and like, someone should create a program for these kids. Someone should, you know, invent this. Someone should come up with a better alternative for whatever, right? And it's the difference between, you know, the people whose names we all know and the people who we haven't had the pleasure of knowing, is because they said yes and they stayed in the yes. And they said like, let's go. I mean, you guys are inviting students into this in October, right? And so it's just awesome. And I love it because it's meant to be, right? And each of you are here. You wouldn't be in the Thought Leader Lounge if you're not here to lead a movement, because we don't compare movements to anyone else. Doesn't matter how many, you know, that's irrelevant, but we're here to say yes to the big magic that's come to each of us. And I really, Summer, when you shared this with me, I thought, oh my God, like I started emailing lots of people, and I thought, well, come on the lounge so that, you know, like people here can hear you. And so, before we kind of conclude and get everybody the link, because I know people really want to follow you and this movement and share it. What like there's so many more things. We might have to do a part 2 at some point. Because there's so many things I'm curious about in this. But let's just imagine it's a year from now, and you've had your first cohorts going through, and like, what's the change that you really see your movement making in the world?
I'll start. For me, it's the confidence to step out. It's to be that our students are in full expression of self, and they feel supported. They feel like they can take those big leaps. I see young children who are fostered by parents who let them be themselves, and wow, how they shine. And that's what I see for our young adults. It's like, this is that time when you're an adult, you're making decisions for yourself, and you're shining, because it's all coming from who you are and not from who someone else said to be.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, really, it's a ditto. My life is about alignment. It's taken me all these years to get closer and closer to it. And daily, that's what I work on.
Yeah.
So we can bring that further down and not have to be something that it takes so long to figure out. We have like, we have kinder people. We have more engaged people. The world that we're living in is just an expression of people being in alignment. And I just don't think there's anything more beautiful than that. So I'm all for it.
It's like that idea of like aligned people like are happy and they love themselves and love others. And, it's sort of like, that's amazing. So, I mean, who's so excited? I want to hear in the chat, those of you on Zoom, and then on social, we'll read the comments. What are you taking from this? What did you need to hear today in the yes that Summer and Dr. Crystal have given to their movement because it takes courage, you guys, right? You all had other stuff going on, right? It takes a lot of courage to lead a movement and to say yes and stay in it and put resources and get together a team and invest your heart, money, soul, everything. So so everybody put in the chat what you're taking away for your movement, for your thought leadership this week. And I think that's like the last question I want to ask you both is, what is this calling forth in you? You know how like anytime we go to the next level or the next vision, it's like, ooh, we're going to talk about this at Women Starting Movements. Like it's a new identity. We're going to do a whole deep dive into identity. And so what is it for each of you? Like, what is it drawing out of you that's maybe new or amplified?
I'll start this one, Crystal. So as a projector, my energy is best used as like a guide, a point. This needs to go here, that needs to go there. And so as much as possible, staying in that role in this business is my sweet spot. So it is, 100% like claiming my unique brilliance at a whole new level, and it's uncomfortable, but we're doing it anyway.
Yeah, you are. Well, it has to be like, I think that there is no way to go to a next level in a comfort zone. I just don't think those two things happen together. They're just not, they just can't exist together. So Dr. Crystal, what's it calling forth in you?
I think for me, the biggest thing that is that pressure piece is the showing up every day. And like, yes, I just did all that yesterday and it's time to show up again today. You mean hair and makeup again today? You mean people are going to see me again today? And I've gotten really comfortable in the COVID environment of staying home and you only get dressed from here up. And now it's we're out in the world and we're showing up on these Zooms and just showing up every single day and allowing myself to be fully shining as myself as well.
Absolutely incredible. So please feel free, if the two of you, we will send out an email to everyone and post on social how to get in touch with you. If either of you want to pop it in the chat here for the our VIPs on Zoom, we will make sure that everyone can find you and see, whether you're a parent who has kids at this age and want to explore it, people that do, or you just like Charla and some of you and Kelly were saying, I think what's at the core here of this movement is at the core of every good movement, which is bringing something new to the world, bringing a new way, a way that's going to empower more people, give more options, be more inclusive. And some people are saying, okay, a little bit more of hair and makeup. Yeah, we don't need it. I know. And you look, and also Kelly, the fun part is you could be someone who goes on every day with no hair and makeup and says, you know what, I love leading my movement. I'm in my pajamas. Like, authenticity is undeniable. I love putting on, because I feel better if I put on, like I had on a tank top earlier because I was just walking around and getting my son ready, but I feel like I want to come on and put on a blouse, not to please you guys, but because I feel more like who I'm here to be and my vibration raises. And then I know amazing friends who are the opposite. They're like, I love being in my pajama. It's like, so whatever takes you to state, whatever takes you to your leadership is so perfect. Okay. So we have www.lifelaunchcore.com. All right. That's the URL for everybody to memorize. Yeah. Cause and tank tops and flip-flops, as long as it's authentic, will be everything. It's not authentic for me. So that's why I dress like this, And so it's perfect. And I love that if anyone watches Alex Hormozy, I've been really into him recently with his big book launch. He just loves coming on. He was wearing like what looked like just underwear in a video that was showing like this full body frontal. And I thought, you know what? I freaking love that guy. He's like, I didn't feel like maybe putting on shorts. I'm still going to make you all video. And it just was lovely. And so it's like, you do you, we all do us. And Crystal and Summer, you are modeling this for us. You are modeling what happens when you go all in. You say yes to leading a movement, not just launching a program. It's leading a movement. And I felt that a minute Summer told me about this idea and knew we had to have you on as part of the series. So everybody go to lifelaunchcore.com and keep up with what Summer and Dr. Crystal and their incredible work and this new class that's coming out and that's going to get to start in October, because these kids can't wait. They don't need another year of feeling lost and numbed out and like, just like life isn't, connecting with what, giving them what they need. They need that now. And thank
that's
you.
why we're building it even before it's all ready.
Yes.
It just had to happen.
You just do it. I believe always in you create it and do it, and then you perfect as you go. Those of you who've been in Thought Leader Academy since the beginning, you know how much it's grown, right? And everybody, if you are not already joining us for Women Starting Movements, we are sold out in the room. We do have a wait list, and there are a couple people I know today, 2 people who had family things happen and they're not going to be able to come. So all you need to do, Jill, if you put the email, just message care@sarahcannell.com. And we will just be getting as many people in off the wait list this week as we can. So if you don't have your ticket yet, get on the wait list and we'll make sure to be able to get you in for October, because we're going to blow the roof off that place. And it's going to be so exciting. So this is really our last week to be able to, get everyone in and confirm everything with the venue. So make sure to get on the list if you're not already on it. Thank you both so much. Summer, you're in Norway, zooming in from abroad. Dr. Crystal, where are you located?
I'm in Miami.
Perfect. Okay. So East Coast, Europe. Look, thank you for taking your time. A lot is going on in this next month for you, and that you took time today to come on the lounge. I'm so appreciative. I know you've uplifted all our weeks and inspired us, and we can't wait to be part of this and watch it as it unfolds.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's such an honor to be here as your guest.
Well, more to come. We'll see Crystal and Summer in Chicago, and I'm sending you all love for a great week. Make sure before you go to bed tonight, everybody, do one thing that moves your movement forward. All right. One thing that is going to say, I'm in it. It's the real deal. Whether you're going to write today, pitch something today, craft an email today, get on Zoom with someone and say, I got to figure out my next step today. Get your ticket, get on the wait list for Women Starting Movements so we can be together and do a year's worth of work in 3 days. That's really what we end up doing in these events. So I almost said 3 weeks. It's 3 days. It feels like 3 weeks. All right. So I'll see you all next week. You're amazing. And just show up for yourself. Show up for the movement, because that's how you're going to show up for the people you're here to serve. See you guys next time. Bye.